Hey everybody, good morning. We are here today at the Surfaces Trade Show, and we're with one of our customers and family friends, Harry Boris of Harry's Carpet Service. Harry and his father are world-class carpet custom rug installers, fabricators. They get flown in and out of various locations, and today's Harry's going to do a quick mitered corner tutorial with everybody. We did the best prep work we could based on the circumstance, and he's using our blind stitch portable extra heavy duty machine to do it. He's sewn down the borders. Ultimately you want to fold over and glue, and he's going to show how a mitered corner works real quick for you. Harry, take it away.
Okay, so on these rugs you do parallel sides to get the same materials. So here I have the corner coming in, or the shot coming in. Just put a little bit of glue just to harden this up a little bit. Okay, glue dries pretty quick, so you don't have to wait too long. And then what I do is come down to this corner here, and I only cut just a little tiny bit off this. Okay, it doesn't have to be a perfect cut. And then I will cut into the binding. Okay. Now
and that's flush with the carpet.
This is flush, and then it kind of, you can see it has the ability now to wrap over like this, and you don't lose the corner, which you will do if you don't have that extra little piece. We're going light on the glue today because we don't have much. So we're just going to pull this over.
And it doesn't ultimately take much, or you'll make a mess.
It doesn't take much, and you don't want it to bleed through. Usually you'd use some weights or something, but for demo purposes, you just do a little hand weight just to hold down the piece nice and flat. Again, doesn't take long. Okay, I'm going to come back and secure this corner. You can see this cut now, right? And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. Pull this over. And then I'm going to fold this piece down into that little tiny cut that I made.
Inside it.
Just kind of so it overlaps like a little tiny edge of a triangle.
Let me see the underside real quick. Okay, got it.
See how I fold this? And I pinch this down. Again, we'll just leave this for a second to dry. It won't take long. Okay, and then this nub has to be trimmed. You kind of cut on a downward angle. On a downward angle. Then you want to get some glue in on this, and you can use a piece of your scrap to push it down so you don't burn your hands. And now you have one side done, basically. I put a little bit more glue here so this is flat. Okay. Okay. So this is really step one. Okay. Now the top side. This is really where you have to watch your cuts. We're going to secure this in with some glue. Usually this would all be glued uniformly. You want to make sure you're straight into the corner with the binding. You have a 90-degree turn here before you even cut. Okay. Once that's secure, we're going to peel back, and now we're going to start taking a look at where our corner is going to look like it's centered. You want to have the top first, and then you want to come to just about the middle of this little, this tiny...
Bisect it.
Yeah, this little tiny cut we made now has a little bit more of a footprint when you start folding stuff on top of it. And then we'll cut about a 1/2 inch to 5/8 above our desired fold. Some guys use a protractor. You get good enough at it, you don't need anything but your eye. Cut this. This is important. This is a cut. If you cut on this fold, you will ruin the corner. So if you peel back and you have to cut this nub out, you have to cut below the fold. You only need to take a little bit of that material out so the corner doesn't peek through. Now we make a fold, and you have to be sure that you don't squeeze the material too hard, because it can actually take malleable shape in your hand, and it can affect, these little lines. They might get swervy if you squeeze and push too much. But now we got a nice line. okay? Kind of hold this in place, and then I just put a very light bead of glue in here, okay? Before I press it down, I take a look. It's in the middle. Just a little bit of pressure to make the line, okay? Now that that's down, got a little flyaway here, we'll trim that. Okay, now you have your line, and your fold is kind of made, it's a little stable now. It can still be manipulated if you have a little bit of like the line isn't perfect in everywhere. And then I'm going to just lightly hit some glue. I would use a little bit more, but we're kind of tight on glue.
Yeah, really tight.
So now we have basically most of this constructed. You want to put a little more pressure on this because you want the weight of the glue to really crush between the binding but not transfer, and that depends on how much you use. You use too much, it's coming through. You're going to have to take that all off and do it again. So you have to learn what the volume is of how much glue is coming out, and also the temperature of the glue. This gun's only at 340. You don't want hot magma pouring out. You want something with a little bit of tack. Yeah. Okay, so now we're looking good here. Just going to put a little bead under the final, like, kind of, you know, tight spot in the last line. Again, put some pressure on it.
And usually, typically, you're waiting 2-3 minutes for it to dry all the way every time you do this?
I mean, this is real time, but it's probably only been a couple minutes, right?
Yeah, so, not even.
I mean, if this is a job on a rug I'd be making, this is how fast I'd be making the corners using this process. And the good thing with the glue gun is if I make a mistake, I can get a steamer and reactivate this, and I could take it apart. So that's the good thing about using the glue guns as opposed to stitches.
Yeah, this is a very fast way to do it.
So I need that.
Typically, it's a lot of installers I've seen will take
right there and
exponentially longer.
So I'm running out of glue, but we're going to push the stick in. Okay. No, I got it.
Got it.
Now we're pulling the top sides around. Okay. Before I pull the corner around, and make sure that this is all set. Okay.
And it's laying up on a machine.
And it's,
so
yeah, I mean, I would usually have it flat.
It's going to be flat.
We're okay. I mean, it's still even, it's fine.
You don't want to do these while they're on the machine.
Yeah, you want them to be flat on a flat table. And make sure you have nothing underneath the corner that the carpet's going to stick to. Because then you pull it up and you can sometimes rip stitches, or it can rip the binding if you use too much glue and it's like glued down to whatever you're working on. Okay, and then you see now how this looks on the back. Here's that first nub. We've come around. This is the fold. That's what the fold looks like after we've wrapped it under. I've cut. You can see I have enough room here. You do not want to cut like here. You need to cut far off on the corner so that you make sure that you have enough of this material to wrap around the back. Okay? Now, I'm going to take...
And there are different ways to do miters. This one has to be the quickest I've seen.
Pull this around. Get it set in the bottom, you know, because now there's binding on binding, so not everything is glued down. We're holding this, though, so that it holds shape. And then I'll put a little glue under here. And it's, you can see there's not a lot of material. It may not look like I didn't cut away a bunch, but the way that it's folded actually makes it very flat and narrow. It's not bulky. There's not a big bubble on the bottom of this.
And of course, you don't have enough glue.
Well, I'm a MacGyver with the glue gun, right?
Push, yeah.
Again, not a ton of glue. Not a lot of glue everywhere. Just enough. Keep pressure on this. And then I'll push this down.
And you use those metal weights?
I use metal weights. Not a seaming weight, like, you know, the seaming weight has the plastic on it. It's kind of bulky. I have the smaller metal weights. Even some lifting weights I'll put on corners, like a small 5-pounder. And then, we take a look. This is the only flyaway nub. And then I would take some carpet latex from NC and I would put it over this corner thread and brush it out with my finger a little bit, and maybe a little bit of latex on these cut threads so that they don't fray for any reason. And then basically, this is what you are left with.
Tuck this side under real quick. Yeah, that's the quickest way I've ever seen it done.
Yeah. And you can charge, I don't charge for corners, but
At least $50 a corner.
yeah.
I just bought your guys' machine.
We used our
search machine, the portable one. We have been using the binding machine and search.
used our WBM industrial table model that's been portabilized over the last handful of years. And then we have the NC glue gun. We saw the glue, the gun, of course the machines, and the 5-inch tape or 3-inch tape. We have the largest line in the country.